Strut Nation, Teal Nation, we are pleased to welcome the three-time Sunbelt Conference Player of the Year, Sunbelt Conference Freshman of the Year, three-time first-team Sunbelt Conference, Cure Bowl MVP, also listed on his high school's Wikipedia page as a notable alumni, and in maxpreps.com, he was the two-time high school basketball player of the week for his conference. Grayson, did you know that, by the way?
Yeah, I had a good idea. I thought it was more than two, but hey, we'll take it.
Talk to the Max Preps. That's what I found out. I was looking through some stuff to get a good intro for you. I thought awards was a good place to start. And as a former basketball coach, I go to Max Preps a lot, and I saw that. I was like, okay, I got to bring that up. So you are the two-time Max Preps Conference Player of the Week. Congratulations on that. That's the crowning achievement of your athletic career, I'm sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
And if Teal Nation, Strut Nation has not figured it out, tonight we are all pissing teal because we are pleased to welcome quarterback Grayson McCall.
What's up, guys? Appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey, man, we appreciate you joining us. This is great.
Yeah, man. Hey, I tell you what, these guys know, man. We were talking about before we got recorded, man. This is a special time. We wanted to get you on for about the last year or so, and we know, man, you constantly are getting asked to go on for something, man. But it's pretty special because we've been able to have Coach Beck on and Coach Trickett on, as we touched on, and we touched on Perry Parks, being a former teammate of mine, and someone that Joe and Chili have covered in their own right. Joe being on the broadcast team, and Chili being an alum like myself and being a fan. But dude, we're jacked up, man. I'm telling you, like, we had for those that know, obviously you may not hear this or see this, but we had Maddox on, my son, dude. When I told him Tim was coming on, dude, I said, you can't tell anybody at school, man. I said, until he comes on, you can't tell anybody, man. You can't. It's a secret. Mr. Joe's asked to be top secret. So, but man, we're excited to have you on, dude. I mean, as a former player and somebody's watched you grow in this program, I can't speak for Joe, but I feel like I can for Joe and Chili, man. But it's pretty special for us, man. We've covered you, watched you grow, and through your good times and your challenging times. I don't say there's any bad times, man, because growth happens in both. But you have elevated our program, the program that we've been associated with in three varying degrees, to a level that we thought we'd never get to. And man, it's we're excited. I know we get 30, 40 minutes with you, Max, but man, looking forward to you telling us what you're feeling and hearing and thinking. But Joe, I think you had a question that you wanted to kind of tee up.
Let's just get started. So, Grayson, what led you to come back? What went on in your mind there? What was the mindset there? What was the decision-making process, and what led you to say, look, I'm going to run this back with Coastal for another year?
Yeah, I guess the real question is, did I lose my mind there for a second? Man, I just there was a lot of things going on. I wanted to make the best possible decision for myself.
Yeah.
I just wanted to venture out there for a minute and see what other opportunities that were out there for me. And that's what I did. And I just couldn't find the perfect fit, the perfect spot. Obviously got a good bit of opportunities from a lot of different places, but at the end of the day, it just everything, the thought that kept coming back to me was, the people here, the people around Myrtle Beach and the Conway area and all the alums and people like yourself and the community, man. It just, it stuck with me. And, I don't want to have a degree from anywhere else. Hopefully one day when I'm playing in the National Football League, I can say Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina University. So, I started my journey here. It's been nothing but great times. And, I think it would truly be, idiotic of myself to try and go finish this thing out anywhere else. So, that's what it came down to, man. I believe that I made the right decision. I'm trusting in it. And, it's meant to be, man. I'm a shot through and through.
That's awesome. So great to hear that. Glad for your decision. And I can't wait to see you tee it up one more time for us.
Yes, sir.
So to dovetail into Joe's question, Grayson, what is that experience like? So everybody as a former player, as a fan, we all hear about the portal. What does that process look and feel like, man? Walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, it was extremely hectic to say the least. I actually got my first phone call while I was still in Arcadia, before I'd even walked out of the building. I went in there to enter my name in the transfer portal, and I got a phone call before I even walked out of the place. And from there on, it's a lot of communications, and in today's world, it's completely different with recruiting and NIL and things like that. So, I'm talking to a lot of different people. Obviously, a lot of coaches are reaching out. Just trying to build a relationship and get to know each other. I had a short window to make a decision, so it was hectic, man, and it was kind of overwhelming, really. it was something I'd never experienced coming out of high school. And it was funny because all these coaches that I talked to, they're like, man, you know what it's like. You're used to this. And I'm like, I'm not, man. This is all new to me. Like, so it was crazy, man. But at the end of the day, it just didn't feel right. So, but yeah, crazy experience. If I could give any advice to anybody else, the grass isn't always green on the other side, man. Stick it out. That transfer portal's crazy.
I think that's something too we talk about. Joe, Chili, I think you got a question too about. We've touched on that, but from someone we can't empathize with you or any of the guys that it's different now, man. That recruitment, Coach Beck talked about it, Coach Trickett talked about it, Perry and I talk about it via text, man. Is you're having to re-recruit your guys, right, Grayson? You're having to re-recruit your team every year, along with high school guys and JUCO guys and guys in the portal. And man, it's like a Wild West out there compared to what it used to be. I now feel old now. I turned 40 this year. I feel like I'm, ancient now compared to that. But to Joe and Till, we've talked about this, man. It's so uniquely different. The landscape of it. We always hear NIL is a big piece of it, but how big of a piece is NIL in that process?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I know for a lot of people, it's the majority of the reason they make that decision, or sometimes even all of it. For me, it was kind of just, a cherry on top, an extra thing. It was an opportunity that I could seek. But for me, I told my parents straight up, it's like, I'm not just going somewhere to play football. I'm going somewhere and completely restarting in the classroom, obviously in football, but just in general, it has to be the perfect fit. It has to be a system that's going to benefit me. I have to be able to see through with the coaches and see that I could build a relationship with them and they could take me to the next step. So, obviously it's a great opportunity that a lot of people are taking advantage of, but for me, that wasn't what I was looking for. But it's crazy, man. You see even with high schoolers coming out, it's all they're talking about, and huge numbers and huge deals, whether it's true or not. I mean, it's the big thing right now. So it's crazy.
Mine kind of goes along with that too. Is can you kind of give us some of your first impressions of Coach Beck and his staff and how they've kind of come in and what's been the transition for someone, especially in your position, because quarterback's a high profile position, no matter where you play and what level or whatever, that is the spot everybody looks at. So, for you in your position as a leader on the team, what has been your first impressions of Coach Beck and the staff so far?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think from the first day he walked in the building, he kind of impressed a lot of us. Myself and all my teammates were really going through a tough time in the season, coming off 2 really bad games, dealing with coach leaving and, playing for the staff that was still in place while Coach Beck's coming in and trying to introduce his guys and bring guys in. It was a crazy time, but what the first day Coach Beck talked to the team, he just addressed us. He kept it real. And he's been all about relationships and trying to meet everybody and get to know everyone and hear their story and stuff like that. And he told us from day one, every decision he makes is for us, for the players, for the team to grow in whatever way it is, whatever aspect it is. And we took his word for it. And then from there on, he's brought in a phenomenal staff. If you look at it, look at the guys, look where they've come from, their resumes. It's really impressive to as a first year head coach to bring in, that level of a staff is impressive. And, we haven't been able to get on the field and work with them yet, but just sitting and talking to them, they have great football minds. We're going to run some awesome, fun things on offense. And it's going to be fun, man. It's just, I can't wait to get out there in the spring and work with him, but it's been nothing but good things since the day he walked on.
So he's known as kind of a quarterback whisperer, as people have been saying that about him. So clearly you and him have a built-in vocabulary already. Can you kind of give us an idea, like some of the things you and him already see eye to eye on when it comes to play calling, leadership, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously a quarterback coach, a OC, usually they have their own system and they stick with it and that's what they run. But, our situation is a little different. Obviously because Coach Trickett's the OC. He's coming from South Florida. Coach Beck was the OC. Now he's the head coach coming from an NC State system that's a little different. So it's been interesting. It's been different. But at the same time, like, he really likes some of the stuff we ran last year. So I've been sitting down with him, kind of teaching him how we did things last year. He wants to kind of innovate and build on top of those things. And and, run some of the same systems and things like that. But it's been really good for me already. I've grown a ton in 2 weeks just because of the verbiage and the different way they explain things and talk about things. It's really good for me going to the next level to hear from the different verbiage and the different type, terms and coverages and defenses that they use. So it's going to be exciting. And I know I'm going to learn a lot from him and Coach Trickett.
Grayson, you kind of touched on this a little bit, and I've got to ask you this because I was kind of around the team down in Birmingham for the bowl game. How odd was that? Those last couple of weeks just were the weirdest. You kind of knew what was going to happen. You were hoping it wasn't, but you kind of knew what was going to happen. And then, obviously we went through what happened at the championship game and then the bowl game with the staff. You knew most of those guys were gone, if not all of them. And then all of a sudden, as soon as that was over, well, I mean, we already had the transition, but as soon as that was over, you knew that, the next day it was going to be, okay, the new staff is going to start leading this program. So just if you would, just take me through that. Take us through how weird that whole situation just seemed to me. And I know it had to be odd for the players.
Yeah, definitely odd to say the least. It was really challenging time. It's hard to describe, but we were just trying to be optimistic through it all. It felt like everything was stacked against us. From the JMU game on, I think that's when the the buzz about Coach Chadwell leaving, this and that. It was tough, but myself as a leader and my teammates, we just had to bring the guys together and stay optimistic. Obviously, a lot of guys are looking for the easy way out, want to enter the portal, this and that. But it was tough, man. We did the best we could. We stuck through it and just try to make it about each other and nothing else, to just go out there and leave it all on the line and finish strong. And like I said, it comes down to those relationships. Like, it was for all the seniors, all those guys that played their last games. It was a great ride. Obviously, we couldn't finish the way we wanted to, but yeah, man, it was challenging. Something I've never experienced before, but I kind of leaned on the guys that had been through a transition in the past, and just look for advice and different ways to approach it and things like that. But we're finally through it, and the sun came up again after that last game, and so the Chants are going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
And one quick follow up too, you got dinged up in the bowl game, and I was like, man, we are headed for a shootout. I mean, you sold yourself out on that run, and then when we saw you kind of come down on it, I was like, oh man, that looked really weird when he did that. And I'm just glad that you didn't get seriously hurt in that thing, and just glad to see you back and ready to go for another for another run this year. But how fast did you bounce back from that? I mean, in terms of what happened to you in your injury?
Yeah, I'm actually still feeling it a little now. Obviously, we've been running and lifting a little bit, so I'm modified a little bit, but I'm able to do most things. But all the tests, I got an MRI and a CT scan, everything came back clean, neck and back and things like that. So that was obviously good. It could have been a lot worse, obviously. So I got lucky. But just basic rehab and trying to loosen it up. Just dealing with little uncomfortable positions and things like that. But it's getting better now. I'm doing well. Appreciate you guys asking.
Good.
Yeah. So I want to take the opportunity to talk about transitions, Grayson. Talking about Chili touched on a little bit with chemistry and culture, right? Those are the two building blocks of where we're going next. It's chemistry and culture. Touch on a little bit offensively. So for me, you're going from basically a spread RPO type offense, right? And it's something that Travis talked about. Coach Trickett, if you will, talked about how he's going to not bring, like you highlight this a little bit. He's not going to bring a particular type of offense that says, hey, this is what we're going to do, and this is how Tim's going to run it. To your point, he made a good point. It's like, hey, what does Jared Brown do? What does Braden Bennett do? What does Grayson McCall do? What does Sam Pinckney do, right? How do we build an offense around what they do well and getting touches into their hand? And you touched on, like, hey, guys, man, 2 weeks, this thing's been fun. I literally wrote the question down. What excites you about going from the prior offensive scheme and thought processes to a pro style? And let's be direct and candid. This is going to help you get to the next level, because it's going to be what scouts are going to want to see, right? It's going to be a more pro style offense. What are you excited about? And also, what kind of gives you a little bit of concern too about, hey, this is the areas that we need to improve or really move ahead in, if you will? Because I know when we changed our offense a little bit, it gives you a little concern.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to be front, like you said, this offense gives me the opportunity to elevate my game and learn my game. And get under center a little bit, and
Mhm.
hopefully be able to throw it down the field a little more and not have to run it as much. Things like that. But no, really, it's like you said, it's going to be really good for me moving forward. And it's the system I've wanted to be in, and that's what they want to see me in. So it's going to be good, man. We've got the weapons, but like you said, Coach Trickett and Coach Beck and the support staff, they do such a good job of favoring the guys in their position. Like you said, what does Jared Brown do well? Well, at USF, their guy there did something better, right? So what do I do well? What does this guy do well? And then let's run the plays that they can comprehend, that they can execute, and let's run those. And then let's build a foundation and build off it. So it's gonna be fun.
So that kind of segue in. Is this going to be the most exciting spring that you've had since I mean, because I see the smile because this is a whole new offense, man. This is you're going to have to kind of, you've got a lot of players back, you got a lot of teammates back that have that chemistry, but this chemistry is going to be tested a little bit with trying to figure out timing of routes and things like that. And I'm sure you're happy to not doing as much RPO as we did the last 3 years, but to just elaborate a little more about this spring. Like, is there one thing that sticks out? You're like, hey, TD, this is really what sticks out in my mind. I'm super, like, one thing I'm dialed in on, I'm really excited about.
Well, the thing that's going to be the most different this year is, the past 3 camps, well, really the past 2 camps, I've been extremely familiar with the offense. So the install isn't really install to me. It's reminders. So this year it's going to be learning on the fly. I'm going to go into a meeting, learn the install, draw it on the board, and then that day I have to go out on the field and execute it. So it's gonna be awesome, man. It's like all our coaches talk about practicing like a pro, acting like a pro, living like a pro. Like this is preparing me for exactly what I need down the road. Like, all right, let's go in the room, let's install this, and on the fly we're gonna go do it on the field, see if you can do it. It's gonna be extremely challenging. Obviously I'll be playing a little slower at first, but that's what I'm most excited about. I'm excited for the challenge. It's gonna be awesome.
Awesome.
So you get out in the backyard, you kind of draw like a little button hook, and you're going to do this and see what the offense is going to be like. Is that right?
Yep. If this guy goes that way, throw it this way. If this guy goes that way, throw it that way.
We'll get you a whiteboard instead of a quarterback wristband. You can kind of draw it up there, right?
I like that.
I'll tell you what it's going to do, man. Hey, I'll add this real quick, Chili. It's going to make defenses not be able to scheme against you the way the past 3 years that they've done, man. That's the one thing I'm excited about as a fan and as a former player looking at is getting on here with these two guys and talking about being inside the helmet. And I'll put a bow on it real quick, but that's what I'm excited about is defenses are not going to be able to scheme the same this upcoming year as they've done the past 3 years, which is going to put them on their heels until probably week 6, 7, 8, until there's some film on you.
Absolutely.
So Grayson, my question for you is, and you can pick anybody that you've seen play over the years. Who is somebody that you try to emulate as a player? Like, have you seen someone that you're like, that's the quarterback I want to play like? And it can be any aspect of the quarterback's game itself, but who's somebody you look up to as a player that you're trying to emulate, or who you just look up to as that position?
Yeah, really. I mean, there's not a specific guy that comes to mind that I would say I try to emulate my game like him, but just watching guys that have a similar play style. Obviously Josh Allen's my favorite guy to watch in the league right now. I think he's unreal. Obviously I'm not as big as Josh Allen, can't throw the ball as far as Josh Allen, but just guys like him and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, guys that are a little more mobile, that extend the plays and make really smart decisions. I love watching guys like that, and if I can just pick up one little thing from watching them, that could help me out just a little bit. I just look for simple things like that the average eye wouldn't look for while watching a football game.
So are you looking at Josh Allen in terms of like his arm strength, how he runs the ball, or what are you thinking about when it comes to him?
It's more about, the things I haven't done, just basic stuff like first step from under center, outside, how they're presenting the ball on play actions, basic stuff, dropping arm angles in different, throwing slots and things like that. I think it's really interesting, and I'd love to be able to, play at that level one day.
One quick little follow-up, and I'll turn it back over to Joe. So what's something that you have kind of borrowed from somebody you've emulated that you put into a game that's been like a big-time help for you so far in your game?
Yeah, I would just say throwing on the run. I feel like that was something I struggled with coming out of high school a little bit. And, just basic stuff like getting your feet underneath you and your front shoulder, especially a right-handed quarterback rolling out to the left. Just basic things like that, getting out of the pocket and being quick on your feet and being able to throw on the run. I think, like I said, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, guys like that. I would say that's probably the biggest thing.
Throw it from here, man. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Joe?
Right, Joe.
Grayson, who are some guys that we may not know about yet offensively that you see as guys that we're going to talk about coming up in 2023?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's competition and position battles all over the board. Obviously, we got two center transfers, Evan Jumper from Furman and Zach Elam from West Florida. So, I mean, that's gonna be fun to see up there. Obviously, we got to get someone to replace Willie Lampkin. That's going to be fun. And then the tight end room, I mean, we got two studs. And hey,
let's go, baby.
No.
Going to the tight end gets fun, baby.
Hey, let's go.
The tight end gets fun. Let's go.
So that should be fun to see. And the young guys in the running back room that you got to see a little bit of last year, Max and those guys. It's going to be fun. And then our receiver room's really deep. You didn't get to see all of them last year, but Chris Roan, some young guys that just came in, is going to be good. And then we just got some new guys in the secondary. A JUCO transfer and another transfer that are going to be in the secondary. And then we got some guys obviously that are going to come in the summer. That we had a really good recruiting class again this year. So a lot of guys, a lot of competition. It's going to be fun.
That's what I'm excited about. I see the competition, man, because whenever you get new guys in, I know it's random, but I saw where we got a commitment from a QB down in Florida, but he's left-handed, so I'm trying to figure out how we're going to be able to teach him the Grayson McCall way of playing QB here, but he's left-handed. That's going to be fun.
The next Tyler Keene, man.
The next Tyler Keene.
Baller.
So for us as fans, we watch you all and you go out and you represent us, you represent yourselves, you represent the program. What is something that you're already picking up on from that chemistry and culture that if we could tell the fans right now, kind of look into a crystal ball, Grayson, and say, hey, y'all, not necessarily a player or scheme, what's a characteristic that may be different from the one family? I saw Coach Beck's talking about that. What's something characteristically that may be different in this fall that maybe we haven't seen the last 3-5 years?
Yeah, the thing that stands out to me the most, and you guys talk about culture a lot. When they came in, you see it at a lot of places when a completely new staff comes in. This is what I did. This is how we do it. This is how it's going to be done here. This is how I did it at my old place. So this whole staff coming in, they're all about, you guys have been extremely successful for the past 3 seasons for a reason. We don't want to come in here and completely change things. The culture that was already built, we want to build on top of that. That's our foundation. We have a foundation. Now let's build on top of that. So just the fact that they're coming in, and just like we have to buy into their system, they're kind of buying into our system and our culture and believing, trusting in us. So just that immediately gives all the guys a sense of confidence that, all right, they believe in us. They came here for a reason. They know the tools and the resources that we have. This is our foundation. Let's build upon it, with this asset, this coach. It's so that's the, one of the biggest things that's really stuck out to me.
Cool.
So,
Joe, Chili?
Yeah, I want to just ask this. So, big game, any big game you've had so far, or maybe a big game coming up. I got to ask this question because I'm just curious about you in general. What's on your pregame playlist?
All right, so
had to ask, man. We had to ask.
Hey, it depends on the mood and the day, but honestly, I'm more of a slow music, probably some good old country music, some slow music, try to calm me down. My nerves are usually going crazy right there before pregame. So, because when we're in the locker room, you're listening to nothing but thumping, screaming, bass music. So when I get out there before the game, I try to calm myself down a little bit.
So would you tailor make your playlist for the opponent? For example, would you have something different for App State versus in what you would have had for maybe like Army or somebody else as you kick the season off?
Yeah, probably.
I kind of want to know what you listen to before App State. That's what I
Yeah,
really want to
Yeah,
ask you that
I was
question.
going to ask that question.
Hey,
What's on the
I was
playlist
gonna
for App
say
State?
the music, the pregame music for App State was probably a song I didn't like, so it would piss me off.
So okay, so anybody and Grayson, I'll go ahead and tell you this. Each week during the season, we do once a week, and we always put out like a tailgater of the week or whatever. So I guess maybe our challenge, guys, next season is if we've got a big game like App State coming up or where we got to go there or they're coming here, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and make your playlist of your tailgates. Just do what number 10 does.
Yeah,
And just get good and PO'd before the game and go in there and just have your best game you've ever had on that Saturday, right?
Yeah, I'll have to put something together and share it to all the guys.
Perfect.
There we go. Hey,
See,
I'll tell you what,
I want to know what's going to be on this playlist when we go to the Rose Bowl.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh,
I want to know what do you
man.
think,
I
what do
like
you
it.
think about that being as our opening game, Grayson, going to the
Yeah,
Rose Bowl
man.
and
I
UCLA.
don't think I'll need any music to motivate me for that one.
Well, what do you think about that though? What do you think about going out there and opening the season in that setting? Maybe the most historic and storied, football stadium in America.
Yeah, so I won't lie. Back in 2019 when I committed, I looked at the schedule for the next 5 years and saw that, this year in 2023 we're going to open at UCLA. And I'm thinking that would be awesome, but I don't know. I'd be there in 5 years, who knows. But dude, unbelievable opportunity. I mean, that's unbelievable. It's going to be awesome. I've never even been out west. So I'd love to go a week before and go on a little vacation and then go play some ball on Saturday. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. I can't wait. It's gonna definitely be our motivating factor all off season. So we're excited for it.
Get that vacation in summertime. We don't need you on vacation prior to the game, man. We need you pretty dialed in. I'll tell you what, you look at next year, you got at the Rose Bowl, at West Point, in Boone again. How about that? Joe, I think we got a few minutes based, from what you were saying, but how about this year, right? This is the year for you to make that transition, but one more shot. And these two guys know it. That's we all have a lather week, right? My lather week, I get lathered up about App State. Beating them 2 out of the last 3 years is awesome. But sorry, Chili, Joe. Beating their ass in Boone will make my freaking day, man.
I can't find the bleep button.
Please, when we do, just go to the middle of that big A.
Got it.
And stand there and just go. And you're a North Carolina boy, man. I'm sure you got to hear a little bit of it sometime.
Oh yeah. Too much, actually. I'd say a good whopping 25% of my high school goes there. So I gotta listen to it a good bit.
Well, when you get that W this year, just do it for everybody.
Oh
Just
yeah.
go stand in the middle of that A and just look at their entire fan section. Just
I want some of JMU. That's who's good. That's
damn right.
That one's got a star beside it for sure.
Ooh, okay. That's good to know. Good to know.
So before we started recording, I do want to bring something back up that people didn't get to hear, and this is something that's near and dear to Joe's heart. Is what is your favorite Coastal uniform?
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Because we all have our favorites. I want to hear what yours is.
Okay, so it's something we've never worn, actually.
Okay.
Huh.
Hold on.
All three of us just kind of leaned back and went, "What's he about to drop on us here?"
Okay, yeah, we haven't. Okay, because App State in 21 we wore teal, white, teal, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so I want to wear the teal helmets, but go all white, go icy whites from head to toe, and put the teal helmet on top.
See,
I really like that.
They're scared of the teal helmets. I don't believe in that, man.
Yeah,
We
it's something that's talked about, I promise.
Because hey, we were that way with the white helmets, man. We lost the first 2 times white helmets, but now the white helmets they're big game helmets.
Yep.
I call it we call it the standard black helmet, teal and black. We wore in the Cure Bowl versus Northern Illinois, and that was the jersey that we wore all the time. I mean, it was black, black, teal, black. We only had like one pair of pants that first year too, so
Yeah.
we didn't really get a choice, man.
Man, I'm fine with whatever uniform. Can we just get some white numbers on these home jerseys for Pete's sake? The teal or the black. Can we get some white numbers on those things? Because I'm 54 years old and it's hard for me to see out there they disappear into the line. It's like, okay, I think he's got it, but no, he's got it. It's like, oh,
Oh man. Well, so Joe, how much time we got here?
we got about 2.5 minutes.
Grayson, what's something that if you could stand in front of packed Brooks Stadium that you'd love to say in front of all the fans? It doesn't have to be your last time. It could be your first time, last time, or just in general. What would be something that would kind of come over your heart and your mind that you'd say, I just want to tell Teal Nation something like this? Fill in the blank.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's probably something I would have to write out for sure. I mean, I'd have a lot to say, but the first thing would be thank you. It's my life has changed so much since I've stepped foot on this campus back in 2019. Gone through a lot of good times, a lot of bad times, but if it wasn't for all of you guys here, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. And just extremely thankful for all the support. And we're not done yet. We're not done yet.
Indeed.
We've come a long
One
way.
more
It's
ride, baby.
Just the beginning. And there's going to be a guy that's going to come through here, and it might be 10 years, it might be 20 years, but he's going to shatter all my records, and the Shants are going to just continue being the Shants. It's never going to stop. This is an ongoing thing for sure.
Well, hey man, thank you again, former player Joe, being around the program 20 years, Chili, being an alum, being a fan. We're grateful for what you and the guys do day in and day out. Ultimately, you cherish what you do. You carry the brand equity and ultimately the brand, whether it's a mullet wearing kid on your shirt like mine or a Chanticleer logo. We were talking about that, how you could travel around the world now. People, because of what you all have done in the baseball program, and the track program, and other programs, you make that diploma special and you make that logo special. So just keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully we can catch up with you before the season starts too, man.
Oh yeah,
catch you during preseason camp.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. You guys let me know.
Appreciate you, Grayson.
Will do.
Thanks for spending some time with us.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Grayson.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
You too, buddy.